Hello and welcome to the Group 1 preview for the Melbourne Cup. Of course, the race that stops the nation. Brought to you by Top Sport. Feel the excitement. I'm Alex Donnelly and very lucky in the studio today to be joined by Katelyn Mallyon. Katelyn, welcome.
Thanks, Alex. Good to be here. Love Melbourne Cup week.
Oh, the weather has absolutely turned it on in Melbourne. We're recording this on Sunday afternoon. The sun is shining. It could not get any better. Now, the Melbourne Cup, 3 p.m. Tuesday. We're in very rarefied air as I am talking to someone who has ridden Melbourne Cup. So, well, before we talk about your top four and that, let's just delve into the past. It's Sunday. You're leading up to the Melbourne Cup. It's one of your rides. You've ridden for Lloyd Williams in the Cup, and the barrier draw has been done.
Yeah.
How are the nerves building up to when you go out to the barriers?
Very nervous. I was, I drew a bad barrier in 22, so it was always going to be difficult for a sign who was always a query at the trip to sort of get that soft run, which unfortunately we couldn't have. I had to push forward. I nearly found the front the first lap, so that's about as close as I got. But look, the whole experience was unbelievable to go out there with so many people cheering, and the crowd's electric and the atmosphere was incredible. So yeah, to all those jockeys out there, it's the best feeling in the world. Of course, just getting a ride in the Cup is like winning it. So look, I was lucky enough that the team won that year. Yep. So Al Mandan won with Katelyn McAvoy in the saddle, and yeah, the after party was pretty cool.
So this isn't like to frame it in a bad way, but when you're beaten in the Cup and your horse isn't running the trip, do you look at the big screen to see who's going to win the race just to take it all in, or do you sort of soak in what's going on around you with 100,000 people going nuts?
Yeah, it's a good question. God, I can't really remember what was going through my head back then, but probably still trying to do the best I can in the race. I think I ran 18th or something like that. And I was. I think I did have a look at the big screen just to see if those colours were crossing the line first with Al Mandan, because it was quite tight. And thankfully he got the bob in for Mr. Williams and Team Macedon.
All right, let's get to this year's race. Of course, as I said, 3 p.m. this Tuesday. Current favourite with Top Sport, Buckaroo, who steps up to 3,200 metres for the first time. He's $6 equal favourite with Vauban. Now, speed map, very important. Who do you think leads this race other than Just Fine?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think Land Legend will probably push on from out there because he pulled really, really hard in the Caulfield Cup. And he's a horse that when he won the Metrop, he looks like he sort of just wants to flow into it and build his momentum. So I'd imagine from that barrier, he'll just cruise across. He'll be one of the forward horses. It's always a high pressure race, especially getting towards that first corner where everyone wants their spot. So being the big field that it is, I'm sure it'll generate a bit of speed. However, I don't think they'll go as hard as what they did last year. I
agree. I think it's a very sort of sedate pace, and smart that you mentioned Land Legend there, because when he won the St. Ledger this time last year at Randwick, Tyler Schiller took off at 1,000 because they were going that sedately and absolutely killed them there.
Yeah.
They ran pretty quick time that day. Okay,
let's not momentum horse.
Let's not mess around. Let's get to your top four in the Melbourne Cup. It's the hardest race to tip in all year, and I'm asking you to find us the top four.
And I've been sleeping on this decision too, and I've landed on Vauban. I just think this year he was ridden a little bit close last year, just took away his finish. I think he's going just as good, maybe even just a touch better this year coming into it. Willie Mullins has a great chance with Vauban and Absurd, who I also like. Katelyn Mallyon in the saddle there. But I just think Vauban, hopefully ridden just a little bit quieter. I think he's the horse that you want to be on. You know he's going to get the trip. I loved his run in the St. Ledger. That was behind a real good one there in Kypros. And look, I think he's probably the most genuine stayer in this field. So gone Absurd for second. Another terrific chance. Love Katelyn Mallyon in this race. He just knows how to win a Melbourne Cup. He is. He's going for 4. And actually, looking at, I've got his record in the Cup since he's won in cross counter. So he rode Finch the next year. He finished seventh on Finch, second then on Tiger Moth, 6th on Grand Promenade, 4th on Deauville Legend, and 4th on Ash Run last year. So he's always around the mark. Katelyn Mallyon in the Melbourne Cup, definitely one of the main chances. Buckaroo, if he had drawn a barrier, I'd nearly have him on top. Okay. I just think it's going to be tricky from out there for him. He's going to need a really good ride. with Joe Moreira in the saddle.
Do you think he just goes all the way back and tries to pick runs because he's got that turn of foot that he can sort of duck and weave, similar to Solcombe last year, minus the 5-length head start he'll give them?
Yeah, it worries me though when Joe Moreira's ducking and weaving.
Yeah.
He's a little he gets a bit excited, and look, he can certainly pick a run through them, whether they're there or not, Joe. But look, he's going to run well as long as he gets a nice run in transit. And the mare Zardozi, after
I'm glad you've mentioned her.
An incredible performance behind a tissue over the mile. She loves Flemington. She's drawn 4. She's down in the weights. Andrea Azzini, of course, won the Sydney Cup earlier this year in Sydney, of course, on Kieran Maher's good stayer. So, yeah, I think she'll be figuring in the finish.
There's a bit of a Mufasa vibe about this, with Bart just looking over James and me going, hey, you know how to win Melbourne Cups. I've shown you the way.
Yeah.
Run them on Saturday.
Absolutely. And I think, he's definitely opened up the Cummings book.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's Katelyn Mallyon's top 4 for the Melbourne Cup. She's got Vauban on top, number 1 from 9 Absurd, 2 Buckaroo, and then down the bottom, number 14, the mare Zardozi. Now check out topsport.com.au for all of your betting action on the Melbourne Cup, because you can feel the excitement with Top Sport this spring. Katie, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Good luck.
We'll catch you later in the week for more Group 1 previews brought to you by Top Sport.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.